What is up, my crafty friends? Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, and welcome to my channel. Whether you're a returning subscriber or you're brand spanking new, I want to say a big welcome and thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I do have a really quick update on our tiered tray situation. Unfortunately, our wood is still not in stock, so we still don't have a tiered tray. I'm so sad. I have really loved making our tiered tray designs for y'all every month, but y'all, we are living in crazy times, and unfortunately we are just rolling with the punches and moving on and adapting as best as we can. But super great news, I do have another super cute project that I want to show y'all today. But before we get started, as you've probably guessed, our video today is sponsored by Skillshare, and I just recently finished this class from Kat Colette called Modern Acrylic Painting for Beginners. Y'all, that's what's actually going to be inspiring our project for our video today. But originally I started my Skillshare classes because I wanted to learn more about watercolor. But who knew that I could unlock other things like cooking or gardening or even photography. Like, there's so many things to learn from Skillshare. I have recently gifted my daughter Samantha a Skillshare subscription for her very own because she is super creative like her mama. And y'all, she has totally taken off and found a love for crocheting. Look at some of the super cute projects that she has pulled off since she learned how to crochet with Skillshare. Do you have kiddos at home this summer that are bored out of their minds and you want to help them unlock their creative possibilities? Then you're totally in luck, because the first 1,000 people to click the link in my description box below is going to get a free 1-month trial of Skillshare, so you can let your kiddos be creative too. So you ready to see our project for today? Here we go. Y'all, these are a pair of super cute flip-flops. I'm going to show you a little bit more when we hop on the workspace exactly what's going to be included in your kit this month, but I will tell you this is going to be double-sided, so you can get twice the amount of fun in our project today. I'm also going to be sharing some of the techniques that I learned in my class that I just took from Kat Colette, and I cannot wait to show you what those are. Don't forget, you can use that free trial of Skillshare and you can take that full class the same way that I did. So that's enough talking, y'all. Let's hop onto our workspace and let's get started. Okay, y'all, here's our workspace, and let's go over really quickly everything you're going to get in your kit. I'm going to give you 4 of your straps. You're also going to get 2 of your flip-flops, and notice how big and large and nice these flip-flops are. They're wide, they're tall. The total height is around 16 inches. You're going to get 2 of those and 4 straps because, y'all, this project is going to be double-sided. And I'm also going to give you the wire to hang your piece with, and I'll show you exactly how you can use this wire to make your wire hanger. So you ready to see what our flip-flops are going to look like today? They are so stinking cute. So let's move the strap out of the way. So the first project is going to be this super groovy red, white, and blue. It's a whimsical look. It's fun. If you wanted to, you can make this super stark and make your lines perfect, but I absolutely love this whimsical look, don't you? So the next look that we're going to have, let's move this out of the way, is this beautiful pastel ombre flip-flop. Isn't that cute? It would even be really cute to come down here and paint like a silhouette, maybe put a silhouette of a palm tree, or you could even paint words on it. It's whatever you want to do, but y'all, look how pretty this ombre is. This is the technique that I learned from Kat Colette in the class that I took from Skillshare. I can't wait to show y'all how easy both of these projects were. So if you want to go ahead and jump and place your order for your door hangers, I'll have the link to that down in the description box below. And if you want to see how to paint these, keep watching our video. Okay, so for the first project, we're going to be using our red, white, and blue. The blue that I'm going to be using today is a folk art color. It's called Cobalt Hue. I'm going to be using an apple barrel red called Flag Red. And then I'm going to be using my Mars Black from Arteza. And y'all, this white that I'm using is actually an indoor-outdoor white. I usually buy it in the gallon, and it's just the first one I grabbed. I did go ahead and pre-paint my white just so it would be completely and totally dry, because it did take 2 coats of that indoor-outdoor paint. You can definitely use craft paint if you want to, but this paint already had primer and everything in it, so it covered great. So let me show you how easy this is to do. I'm going to actually move these other colors out of the way because I don't want to get any paint on that. But these are going to be hanging side by side, so I do want to kind of mimic this and do almost the mirrored opposite effect, but honestly it does not have to be perfect. So y'all, this is something that I never do, but I learned it in the class that I took from Kat, and I absolutely loved how easy it was. So I'm just going to drop down. The great thing about using this technique with all this messy blended look is, you know what? It does not have to be perfect. I love that, don't you? Being perfect is overrated, right? And I'm just dropping this onto our flip-flop. Okay, now I'm going to take one of my big fluffy brushes and just start blending. It's up to you if you want it to be perfect, but y'all trust me, that is not the look I'm going for today. If you wanted to, you could definitely come in and tape off your sides with some painter's tape, but that takes way too long. How easy was this? So if you wanted to, you could definitely just leave it like this. But I'm going to show you what I did to make this blended look. So let's wash this red out. And this is just a glass of water that I've got some dish soap in. I'll dry my brush off just a little bit, and then I want to pick up some of this white. I don't want a whole lot of it on my brush, just want a little bit. So now watch. We're just going to work these colors back and forth. Isn't that easy? Don't be afraid of it. The more you work them back and forth, the more blended they'll get. I'm going to dry this brush off completely. Don't want any pink or red or anything in there. And then we'll come back in and add a little bit more white. Next, I'm going to grab my red again and just highlight the red a little bit more by bringing in some over the top. Okay, while this one's drying, let's go ahead and work on our other side, and I'll let you see what it looks like. Super easy. We're going to use kind of the same technique that we just did on our red, white, and blue side. And this time I'm going to use 2 craft mark colors. One's called light yellow, and one's called powder pink. Let me make sure which one I used. I started off with the pink, and then I blended down into the yellow. So, same technique. We're going to drop 3 dots of our pink. Then I'll drop down and do 2. Come down with some yellow. Then we'll do more pink. And we'll finish it off with our yellow. Looks a little crazy, doesn't it? So I'm going to bring in one of my brushes. This is just a large flat brush. We're going to work this pink back and forth. We're not going to be blending anything just yet. We're just going to be saturating that pink color. And if you need to add a little bit more, you can. This is going to be a pretty heavy coat. We don't want to have to go over it again. We want this to be our one and only coat. Let's put a little bit more up here. Okay, that looks pretty good. So now we're going to work our way down into the yellow. And watch what's going to happen. We're going to blend in that yellow and that pink together. And look how pretty that is. Let's keep going all the way down, and then we're going to work our way back up. The yellow at the bottom, I'm not going to go over much. I want that and the top of the pink to sort of be the purest color. That's going to give us that ombre look. But the rest of it, let's go ahead and work this back and forth. And again, this is one of those things that you really can't mess up. Just make sure your paint doesn't dry too quickly. And the way that you can do that is to make sure it's saturated. This is another one of the techniques that I learned in my class from Kat. I'm gonna make sure we don't have any brush marks left in our design. Look how pretty that is. Isn't that nice? Okay, we'll let both of these dry, and while that is happening, we can go ahead and start painting our straps. So these straps are not the same. I just do want you to be aware. You've got two that are mirrored image of each other, but they're not interchangeable. Like the left is the left and the right is the right. So just be aware of that when you're painting that they are not going to be the same. So this is going to be our turquoise one, and this one is going to be our blue one. The blue that I'm using again is called Cobalt Blue. And then let's do this one first. Isn't that the most beautiful cobalt blue you've ever seen? I love this color. So we'll lay this over to the side, and once it's dried for a second, we'll go back in with our little star, little foam brush, and add in a few little white stars. So next I want to go in with this beautiful tropical rain color from Craftsmart. And we're going to add in a little bit of shading on this one. I want to get my turquoise rain color laid down first. Then I'll show you how simple it is to add in some really nice shading. Even if you're not a painter, you can definitely do this technique. We do want this again to be a little bit heavy because we don't want to have to put two coats on it. Y'all knew I could not do this project without including some turquoise in it, right? This would make a super fun project if you wanted to paint something for the kiddos or with the kiddos this summer. This could definitely be like a mommy and me kind of project. Or the grandchildren. It would be super fun. Okay. Man, this color's pretty, pretty, pretty. So I want to use just a slightly darker color to put in some shadows. And it's also going to give us some depth. And this color I'm using is a deco art color called Peacock Teal. Look how pretty that is. And I know it looks like a super big difference and you're like, man, where are you going with this? It's too dark. But y'all trust me. It's gonna be great. So when you look at your flip-flop strap, you see I've got these little places that kind of kick out a little bit. I made these so that it kind of looks like the flip-flop is kind of inside, or this is like the inside of the strap. You know how your straps fold over? So we want to come in just slightly right along that line. Looks a little funky right now, doesn't it? But watch. We're just going to keep pulling these colors in. Keep working this blue. This light turquoise that we used before. We're just going to keep pulling that through. If you need to come back in and pick up a little bit more, you can do that. You just want those colors to blend. Watching colors come together like this is one of my favorite things. And like I said, even if you're not a painter, you can do this. See, it's a subtle look, but it just gives you a great depth. Got something. Piece of fuzz. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing on this side. And I like to pull mine to the edge a little bit. Let's pick this up so you can see. And that's how you make a shadow. So we'll add a little bit more up at the top here. Same thing. We're just going to keep working those colors back and forth. And add a little bit of an edge down at the bottom. Not much. And again, back and forth. If you want to, you can even pick up a little bit more and come in on some places. Just make sure that you blend. Okay. Was that simple or what? I'll put a little bit more white paint on my dish that does not have red in it. And I'm just dipping my little brush, my foam brush, into that paint. Now, when you're doing your foam brush, make sure you get all of your foam saturated. So kind of tap it up and down, and then pick it up and look at it to make sure that it's all covered. We're only going to be using the very end of that. How simple is that, y'all? Okay, so we are almost done. The only thing we need to do is to add in some black highlights. This is one of my favorite things to do because it's this little bit of a detail that really kind of sets it apart. I'm using a sharp pointed brush, one of my round brushes that has a nice point on it. This one was not dry. Let's go back to this one. And it's up to you. You can leave it just like this, but I think just going in with your brush and sort of making some little lines and some little dots, I think that just gives it sort of that fun, whimsical element. Okay, we've gone all the way around our flip-flop, and now I just want to very lightly sort of accentuate some of our stripes. Not much, and not on every one, but I do want to add in just a little bit of black. I think when you add in black to your projects, it just makes everything sort of pop. It kind of gives it that pop art look, doesn't it? Okay, what do y'all think about it? Super cute, isn't it? If you want to grab one of these, all you've got to do is to click the link down in the description box, and it'll take you right to the website, and you can grab your very own. I will go back and do the same thing to the strap on our blue one, and then I'll also paint the edges black too. I did a little bit different on our blue one though. I did sort of take my same brush and just sort of lightly sketched the outside edge. Not a lot, just a little bit, because I think it makes it look really whimsical. We'll outline the edge of our ombre flip-flop the same way we did our red, white, and blue one. I won't bore you with going all the way around, but you kind of get the idea. Okay, so we need to wait for these to completely dry before we glue them on. So while we're doing that, let me grab this is our wire, and I'll show you how I like to do my wires. You can do yours a different way if you want to. Totally up to you, but I like to sort of put in the center this sort of little squiggly. I think it just makes it fun. And I just wrap it around a paintbrush. I actually want to go one more over. Just like that. And I think it just makes it kind of cute. It also helps it to stay onto your hanger, your wreath hanger, or whatever else you've got on your door to hold it on. Okay, now that they are all dry, all we've got to do is to glue our straps on with our Star Bond glue. If If you want to check out the Star Bond glue, I'll also have a link to that down in the description box below. Make sure that you do line these up so that your front and your back are the same. Okay, we'll give our glue just a second to dry, and then we will add on our hanger and get it hung on our door. Okay, so now we're ready to add in that hanger. I just like to take the ends and sort of bend them up just a little bit. And we'll just thread it through the little holes that are on top. Then we'll just secure those together by wrapping it around itself. And if you want to, you can definitely glue your flip-flops together, but I like the thought of just putting them on the door and then arranging them if you want them to go like this, or if you want them to go over the top. That way you can do it either way you want to. You could even crisscross them like that. Isn't that cute? But if you want to glue them together, you definitely can. So let's get them hung on our door and see what they look like. This is not the cutest thing you've ever seen. I love how it turned out. I honestly can't decide which side I like the best. Which one do you think is the cutest? The pastel side or our red, white, and blue side? I think it would be super cute to put your family name on here as well. Another little quick tip for you. When you get it hung onto your door, you can actually position them so that they lock into place. Just simply slide one end of your flip-flop into the little slot here on your straps. That way they're not going to go anywhere. If you want to pick up your very own, be sure to check the description box below or go to my website, momadairsdiy.com/shop.